Hurricane watches are in effect in the Caribbean. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Naso with this Thursday afternoon video update on Tropical Storm Melissa, sitting there in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, forecast to become a hurricane and then an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane by the early part of next week, with a very serious threat of high winds, high surf, and extremely dangerous rainfall and flooding potential. Here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Tropical Storm Melissa. It was at 15.6 north, 75.5 west, winds 45 miles per hour. It's been stuck around 45, 50 miles per hour the last 2 days, and that was forecast. It was going to stick around here, kind of just meander as a weak tropical storm, and it is meandering north-northwest at 2 miles per hour, very, very slow. The forecast has it maybe moving north a little bit more, maybe a little northeast. The center keeps relocating under deeper convection, and that's kind of blowing the convection in the center off to the northeast. It should eventually bend back west, becoming a hurricane by Saturday, a major hurricane by Sunday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, be a very dangerous major hurricane dancing around the island of Jamaica. We do have a hurricane watch in effect for the island of Jamaica, as well as for the south coastline there of Haiti, from the border of the Dominican Republic to Port-au-Prince. Tropical storm force winds extend outward 140 miles, so this is a decent-sized tropical storm, and that is bad news because it's expected to become larger in size as it strengthens into a hurricane and a strong hurricane, and that will expand the area of dangerous weather conditions. Now, here's the latest visible satellite imagery, and as I mentioned before, what keeps happening, because it's sheared in the mid-levels and somewhat in the upper levels, the center kind of tries to tuck itself under the thunderstorms. So if the low-level center is here and the thunderstorms are off to the northeast, you almost get a center reformation. And this is very common with weak tropical storms. And so any center reformation affects the track, because if the center is here moving northwest, and then it reforms here moving northwest, that's hundreds of miles difference in track, and that's why this is so tricky until the center is pinned down directly. Heavy, heavy rainfall potential over areas of Hispaniola with the threat of serious flooding. Now, upper-level wind shear is not too bad. It's getting better. It's going to be in a good environment in the next day or so. And the mid-level shear has been kind of a problem, undercutting it, and that's one reason why it's been having trouble strengthening thus far. Now, this is a mid-level water vapor image loop of the last 36 hours, and note that Melissa hasn't moved all day. It didn't move yesterday. It didn't move last night. Look at how it stayed there, just blowing up. There's two mid-level ridges, as the Hurricane Center noted. One of them is sitting over the Lesser Antilles, and the other one is here over the area of Mexico and the Gulf. Now, what's eventually going to happen is, because Melissa's trapped between these two, it's not able to move much. However, this one near the Gulf and Mexico is going to move north of Melissa, allowing it to bend back west. Now, eventually, we might see a hook to the northeast, and most of the computer models show that. Look at the European ensembles. They take this thing straight over the Turks, Caicos, Bahamas, eventually maybe Bermuda, even areas of Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, the Canadian Maritimes would have to watch. But obviously, look at, you can't even see Jamaica, Eastern Cuba, and Haiti on that map. There's so many ensemble lines over it. And when they're pink like that, that is a Category 3+ hurricane, a very dangerous hurricane. So this is bad news all around for Jamaica. This is a closer look at those ensembles. And again, most of them want to take it south of Jamaica, but there are some that take it north. And then if we look at the GFS, same thing here, all over, squiggly lines around the island of Jamaica. So if you are in Jamaica, you're under a hurricane watch, but you must be getting your tasks completed, because things are going to go downhill very quickly in the coming days. Here's the HAFS hurricane model that the Hurricane Center uses, and it makes this a very dangerous Category 4 and 5 hurricane right there along the tip of Jamaica, right along the extreme eastern coast. And watch this. This is 72 hours, 78 hours, 84 hours, 90 hours, burying itself as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane into Kingston. Sitting 96 hours, 102 hours, 108 hours, not moving. Weakening, it's going to weaken. There's the mountain peaks there in Jamaica. I believe they're called the Blue Mountain Peaks, like 7,400 square feet, or I'm sorry, 7,400 feet high. That'll rip a hurricane apart if it sits over there. But imagine the wind and the rain. Look at this, 95 knots, Category 2-3 hurricane. Finally, as we get later in the week, it starts to move up towards Cuba and eventually makes landfall Tuesday in eastern Cuba. This is the other HAFS model, which shows, again, similar thing. Just a quick intensification south of Haiti. This thing batters Haiti. And then, look at this, just dancing, making landfall right there along the southeast coastline of Jamaica. So even though the models like to take it south of Jamaica, and the track does, the Hurricane Center notes we could see a track to the east. So really anywhere around Jamaica, Haiti, and eastern Cuba, get ready for what could be a very nasty major hurricane. Rainfall, right now we're looking at 20 to 30 inches of rain, but it's still over water for the most part. But look at parts of Haiti are now getting into 12 to 16 inches, and the more this convection blows up on the right side of Melissa, the heavier rainfall and the heavier flood threat. Now, I wanted to show everybody this. This is the official prog from the National Hurricane Center as of 5 p.m. This isn't the cone. This is where they're plotting it, expecting it, and again, this is going to change. But as of now, look at how close this thing gets to Jamaica. 72 hours, 2 o'clock on Sunday, Category 4 hurricane. 2 o'clock on Monday, Category 4 hurricane. 2 o'clock on Tuesday, Category 4 hurricane. 145 miles an hour, October 28th, gusting well into the Category 5 range. And look at where it's at. Look at how close. This is where the eye of the hurricane would be, right near, what is that? This is how many miles? 5 miles? So you're talking 5, 10, 15, let's say within 20 miles of Jamaica. Not for a couple of hours, but for a couple of days, dancing around Jamaica. Very, very dangerous. And if we zoom into the areas here, look at, you got a lot of little campgrounds and hotels and a very touristy area there. This is going to be a big, big problem if this hurricane does what it is forecast to do. Even if it didn't make landfall, can you imagine the eye of a powerful Category 4 or 5 hurricane just sitting there dancing around Jamaica? The onshore flow, the storm surge risk, the flooding rains, the wind. Oh, what a mess. So the key messages for Melissa as of 5 p.m. Thursday, number 1, in Jamaica, due to the slow motion, the risk of a prolonged multi-day period of potentially damaging winds, heavy rainfall resulting in life-threatening flash flooding, and numerous landslides and storm surge, those risks continue to increase for Jamaica. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion, since strong winds and flooding rains could begin in Jamaica by Friday or Saturday. Number 2, for Haiti, heavy rainfall will result in catastrophic flash flooding and landslides across southwest Haiti by this weekend into early next week. Extensive damage to roads, buildings, potentially isolating communities for an extended period of time. Haiti, you talk about third world, I always say fourth world. They are such an impoverished nation that any kind of rainfall like this could be really, really disastrous. This is a life-threatening situation, and immediate preparations to protect life and property should be taken, and strong winds could also potentially last for a day or more over the Tiburon Peninsula of Haiti. Remember, if the eye of the hurricane or the eye wall gets too close, you'll be in that right front quadrant and get a lot of onshore flow of heavy winds and heavy rain. Finally, number 3, remainder of Hispaniola and eastern Cuba, the heavy rain could produce significant life-threatening flash flooding, numerous landslides in southern Dominican Republic. Interests in Cuba should monitor the progress of Melissa, since the risk of heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and storm surge appear to be increasing. Don't let your guard down here in Cuba and the Cayman Islands. Again, this thing could eventually hook back into those areas, or it could take the right edge of this cone into Haiti and the Dominican. It's really uncertain, and we still have time to watch it, but we're getting closer to where certainly the flooding impacts are going to start right away. There's the latest in Spanish for people down there in the Caribbean who speak Spanish. So again, that'll do it for this update on Melissa. It's looking a little bit better organized. We'll have another NOAA aircraft in there and assess the intensity later tonight. The forecast is tropical storm, then becoming a hurricane, then becoming a very violent hurricane, a late season monster. And it looks like it's going to be so close to Jamaica that whether or not it makes landfall, you're going to have nasty impacts. But this is a significant threat to Jamaica, Haiti, and eastern Cuba, to say nothing about the rest of the Caribbean Sea and areas there of the Bahamas who want to watch it. I'm Mike Naso with the latest on Melissa, and I'll talk to you next time.